Hey guys, it's Jenny here. Welcome back to my channel. So I know that this is kind of like short time, if you will, because I just posted my Q&A the other day, but you know, I had a little bit of free time on my hands and you guys actually had a lot of questions. So I've decided to answer the ones that you guys gave me right now, and if somebody missed the last Q&A, feel free to leave some comments down below and I would be more than happy to do another one of these because I just like talking to you guys in general. So yeah, let's get into it. I have about 20 questions. So yeah. So question number 1 is, how are my hands? So when I got them both checked out by the doctor, but this one where my thumb was injured, it ended up not being broken or dislocated or anything. I ended up just severely bruising the bone in the joint right here, which is what caused it to swell up so badly when I hit it. And as for this hand, I actually haven't been to a doctor about it recently, but it's been feeling better. I wore the brace when I could, off and on, and eventually like this bump that I was feeling underneath of it kind of faded on its own, and it just doesn't really bug me anymore. So I guess my hands are healed for the most part. So yeah, that was nice. Thank you for asking. Number 2 is, am I moving in with my dad? And the answer is yes, I am. He is in an area where there are much more opportunities than the area I'm currently in, because where I'm at right now is a really small town with very limited job opportunities, and there's just not really much space for me to grow here. And he lives but he lives near a bigger city where there are dozens of job opportunities that pay way better than here. So yes, I am moving in with my dad. I'm hoping to only be there for about a year, until Rachel and I can save up for our own place, or if something changes from now and then, like if she gets a girlfriend, boyfriend, and decides that she wants to move in with them, then I can just save up for my own place. Number 3 is, have I read anything good lately? Unfortunately, no. I haven't. Reading hasn't been going the greatest lately, but I have been highly anticipating getting back into it, so I've been buying a couple things here and there. And yeah, so I definitely have a big TBR ahead of me, that's for dang sure. Question number 4 is, how have my family and I been? And to be honest with you, not the greatest. This time of year is always particularly hard for me and my family. And things were pretty rough there for a while, but they're getting better, I think. But things have been better, but then again, things have also been worse. So have we been 100%? No, not really, but will this pass? Yes, probably, hopefully soon. Question number 5 is, do I have any future tattoo ideas? And the answer is always yes. I have so many tattoo ideas that it almost hurts because I can never decide on which one I want next. I'm just so indecisive, and yeah. So I have a lot of tattoo ideas, but I need money for that, and I'm gonna be short on funds pretty soon here. I'm already kind of short on funds, but we're not gonna talk about that. Question number 6 is, am I moving far away or in the same area? And it's kind of in the in-between. I'm still gonna be in the thumb of Michigan, but instead of being up here, I'm gonna be like down here. So I'm moving about an hour away, which is where all my friends and family, well, most of my family, my sister lives down closer that way, my dad lives there, and all my friends live down that way. So yeah, it's not too far, but it's also, you know, it's a little over an hour away. So yeah, if I'm repeating words during this, I'm so sorry. I'm very out of practice for vlogging. It's been a hot minute since I've had to be in front of the camera. And yeah, I guess it's just like having to relearn. Okay, where was I? Question number 7 is, what kind of job do I want next? And one of my main things right now is that I just want a really good paying job. Where I'm making right now, it only pays me $10.25, and I do a lot of work there. And it is definitely not for me. I know that I deserve to be paid more. And there are a lot of job opportunities in where I'm moving that will offer that right off the bat. Like, for example, Target starts out at $15 an hour to cashier. Sam's Club starts out at $16 an hour just taking carts. And of course, if there is a job that I actually really do want, I would love to work at Barnes & Noble. Seriously, everybody's giving me so much crap saying that I would never be able to keep a paycheck, but that is not true. I've actually been pretty good. I've been on a buying ban for like the past 2 months, and I was doing really well. I barely bought any books. I only started buying books like very recently, like literally yesterday and today I bought a couple books. But it was nothing too major. I would really love to work at a bookstore. I think that it would be such a good environment for me. And even out there, a job like Target, I don't think I would find that bad. Or I don't know, bookstore would be probably my first pick, because that is like the most welcoming environment to me. And so yeah, crossing my fingers, but it's kind of hard to get into some of the jobs in the area that I'm moving into, because a lot of them, like, not an actual person reviews your application. It's usually a machine reviewing your application, so you usually get electronic denies like very quickly after applying. And I did apply to Barnes & Noble once, and I got denied. But there's no harm in trying again, especially now that I'm going to be living so much closer. And number 8 is, somebody asked me that they recently bought both of Sarah J. Maas's biggest series, which is Throne of Glass and A Court of Thorns and Roses. And she would like to know if she should read ACOTAR or Throne of Glass first, given that she has already read the pirate novella of the Throne of Glass series. And for this, it kind of depends on the person, but if you already started one of the Throne of Glass novellas, I would probably recommend going in with that, because to me, Throne of Glass is a more complex one of her more complex series. ACOTAR is just so light and easy for me to get into. The world makes so much sense to me, and Throne of Glass is a little bit more intricate. So I would probably recommend starting with like the novella series, which is Assassin's Blade, getting through those and like go through Throne of Glass, because it's kind of heavy on I totally like lost the word I was looking for, but that series is kind of harder to get into. I wouldn't say harder, because it is a really good series and I really enjoyed it, but it does take more brain cells to read, because like the world is more complex than the ACOTAR world. So yeah, I would probably suggest to read Throne of Glass first. Start with Assassin's Blade though. A lot of people say don't, but I think that it helped so much when I reread it starting with Assassin's Blade, because then like all of the characters that come in later in the story you've already met in the novellas, and it's like, oh my god, connecting all of these dots. And yeah, definitely also don't skip Tower of Dawn. Like, please. Everybody wants to say skip Tower of Dawn. It's useless. Like, no, nobody needs to read Tower of Dawn. I thought the same thing. I was gonna skip it because I wanted to get right from Empire of Storms, the heartbreak from Empire of Storms, right to Kingdom of Ash. But I was like, no, I'm gonna read Tower of Dawn. I'm gonna give myself a break, and I'm so glad that I did. I'm so glad that I did, because Tower of Dawn is a work of art. So yeah, don't skip Assassin's Blade or Tower of Dawn. Start with Assassin's Blade, then go Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, Heir of Fire, Queen of Shadows, Empire of Storms, Tower of Dawn, and Kingdom of Ash. And once you get over the heartbreak from that, then probably step into ACOTAR, because it's light and fluffy and it's gonna melt your heart, but also probably rip it out at sometimes too. Yeah, so okay, moving on. Question number 9 is, how are all the animals? And honestly, they're pretty good. Nana is actually right here. Say hi, Bean. She's a whole cat now. She's no longer a little kitten. Savannah turned 1 in August. Say hi, Bean. Are you too good to look at the camera anymore? Can you, like, look at the camera? They want to see your pretty face. She's like, I just crave death. So she's doing great. And the bunnies are honestly all doing pretty good too. I lost both of my guinea pigs pretty recently. That kind of sucked, but then again, I did know that it was coming. They were both extremely old and they both had a lot of health issues. Oh, now you want to be cute. Yeah, my mom put bells on her. I don't know why. You're the only one who has to have bells, huh? Poor Nan. You get so bullied here. We're so cute. So yeah, animals are doing pretty good. The ones that I do have left. All of my bunnies that I have decided to keep, they are all so friendly and I just adore them. And yeah. Question number 10 is, how is reading going? Which, it's not. As badly as I want it to be to go, it's just not. And I'm hoping that moving will change that. Can you please stop? So yes, I have a lot of good books that I'm really looking forward to reading that I just haven't read yet, and I'm hoping that a change in scenery and a change of pace is gonna help with that. My phone is blowing up with texts and calls right now. It's stressing me out. Question number 11 is, any current favorite books, music, movies, or games? So books I'm gonna have to pass on right now because I know nothing about the book world for the past like 4 months. Music, I've been on a huge music kick lately, and I am listening to just about anything you can think of. I do not have a preferred genre. I listen to literally a little bit of everything, and I've just been finding so much new music. I can't even name like a specific artist off the top of my head because I've just been listening to a lot of music. I can't even keep it straight anymore. Movies, I don't think I've started any new movies, but I did just start the originals, and I'm really liking the originals because I just finished rewatching The Vampire Diaries. Really liking the originals. What up? It's me editing. I also wanted to include this that before I started the originals, I had started and finished Outer Banks, and I loved it. I'm actually rewatching it right now. Not right this second, I'm actually watching YouTube, but that's besides the point. Outer Banks is really good and I really loved it, and I've also been continuing with Heartland, and just rewatching some of my favorites. I'm rewatching Riverdale right now. My mom and I were in the process of rewatching Supernatural, but she was kind of like out watching me because I wasn't always home to like watch it with her, so she was continuing on her own. So I think that I might just rewatch Supernatural on my own time, but yeah. Yeah, can't think of it, but I did start the originals and that's going great. I'm on season 2, episode 2. I think I watched the first episode earlier when I woke up. And games, honestly, I was pretty late to the bandwagon for Among Us, but when Rachel told me that I could get it on my phone, we were playing together for hours and I'm just so amused by it. I really do love Among Us, and of course, Assassin's Creed Odyssey on my Xbox. And yeah. Okay. Question number 12 is, for a witchy 90s movie, do I prefer Hocus Pocus or The Craft? And nobody come at me, but I've actually never seen either. I feel like I'm gonna get so much hate for that, but I don't know. I never got, like, I don't know, my mom never let me watch them as a kid, and I never got around to it, so I don't actually know which one I prefer. unfortunately. Question number 13 is, have I ever read a genre that I don't normally like? Which kind of and question number 14 kind of piggybacks off of that, and which is, how did it go? Honestly, I don't really read outside my comfort zone often, but I would probably say the 2 cases in which I did do this was the Stalking Jack the Ripper series by Carrie Maniscalco. I would kind of classify as historical fiction. I think I would classify that as historical fiction. And I hate historical fiction. I'm not a big fan, like, at all. Usually they just bore me to death. But Carrie Maniscalco had such a great way of writing that series. Plus it helped that I absolutely love forensic science. And it's one of my favorite series. And the second instance of that is that I used to read a lot of dystopian, but now I can hardly ever get into dystopian. I just don't like it. My preferred genre is fantasy. It's fantasy. That's literally all. And I think that the Shatter Me series, Shatter Me is dystopian. And again, that's one of my favorite series. So I have read out of my comfort zone and I really like it. Sometimes I have tried to read out of my comfort zone and it doesn't go well. Like if I try to read a sci-fi or a YA romance. I'm not big on YA romance. I can read adult romance or new adult romance, and that's fine. But yeah, I'm not a big contemporary person unless it's a hard hitting. So fantasy is definitely my preferred genre, and anything outside of that is usually kind of out of my comfort zone. So I guess it really depends on the book. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't. You just gotta know your reading taste. Ma'am. Okay, question number 15 is, what's the creepiest book I've read this year? Honestly, I really haven't read hardly any books this year. And they've all been rereads. So I'm gonna recommend a couple books that I read at the end of last year that I really liked. Lock Every Door by Riley Sagar was so good. I would highly recommend that. But the one that got me the most, I was really freaked out reading it, is No Exit by Taylor Adams. Definitely read that. It is gonna throw you for a loop. And then another book that I like to read normally around this time that I unfortunately didn't get around to this year is Slasher Girls and Monster Boys, which is an anthology. It's got all kinds of popular authors in it, and some of the stories are so creepy. And I don't know, it's just it's kind of a fun Halloween read, so I would definitely recommend that. You can usually find it on Book Outlet for pretty cheap, but I don't know how the Booktube community is feeling about Book Outlet right now, so let me know if they're still canceled. I don't know the status. What celebrity do I love that everybody hates? I'm trying to think. Nana is just like top tier comfort right now. Holy moly. Let me see. I feel like this is kind of a tangent from the question, but it's like, okay, a lot of people hate Elena in the Vampire Diaries, like Nina Dobrev's character. A lot of people like absolutely loathe her, but I love Elena. Like, she's one of my favorites. So I guess that's an unpopular opinion, but I only really like celebrities that I watch in TV shows, and not a lot of them get a bad rep. So yeah, I don't really think that I really have one aside from everybody hating Nina Dobrev's character in the Vampire Diaries, but I absolutely adore her. Yeah. Thoughts on the passing of Chadwick Boseman, Ruth Ginsburg, and Eddie Van Halen. Those were some very tragic losses. Especially Chadwick Boseman for me, I can't even tell you why, but when he died, I was absolutely devastated. I was so upset. Like, that one really wrecked me. And of course, Eddie Van Halen too. I've always been a big fan of Van Halen. And I feel really really bad. But I don't actually know much about Ruth Ginsburg. But of course, any life loss is a tragedy to me, so yeah. But Chadwick Boseman's death hit me like right here. I was so upset when I woke up to that news. Literally devastated. So my heart goes out to all of their families and any, all the lives that they impacted. This has been a hard year. And number 18 is, what is the difference between deckled edges and sprayed edges? And luckily I brought some examples. So deckled edges is kind of when you like stack the pages and make it look, I don't know what the word is, kind of like vintagey almost. So yeah, they're gonna kind of look messy and stacked, not lined completely up. So yeah, these are deckled edges. And then sprayed edges is basically when you have like flat, like normal paper, but it's just colored. This is one I custom did myself because I didn't have a naturally sprayed book here. So yeah, sprayed edges is where just the edges are covered in color. I think I do have a book, or I might have a book that has sprayed deckled edges, which is very fancy. So yeah, that's the difference. Deckled is usually stacked and sprayed is just color. Sometimes they can coexist together, but yeah, if you want to differentiate, that's a difference. I didn't know what deckled edges were for the longest time, so I'm more than happy to answer that question. Number 19 is, am I continuing Booktube when I move? And the answer is absolutely. Actually, I'm hoping that this move will actually make it easier for me to do Booktube because I'm going to have faster internet. I'm going to have a little bit more time on my hands in the beginning. I'm going to have almost all of my books in one spot, which is going to be so nice. And yeah, so I'm definitely going to be continuing Booktube. I've missed you guys so much. But life has been pretty difficult lately, and I'm hoping that when I move, it'll change a little bit and that I will have more time to continue Booktube, and that maybe even moving will pull me out of a book slump. But I'm not going to hold my breath on that. I guess we'll just have to see. But yes, I will be 100% continuing Booktube whenever things are settled down and I have the mental capacity. But I just think that having quicker internet for uploads and more time to film is going to be such a lifesaver. And the final question, number 20, is, am I taking my animals with me? And absolutely, I would never leave without Savannah, or at least a couple of my rabbits. So I'm taking her, and I am taking at least 6 rabbits. There are a few that I'm trying to rehome, but if I'm not able to by the time I move, I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to be taking those 3 with me, or if some or all of them are going to be staying here. I'm not sure about that yet, but right now my dad and I are trying to finalize some details about getting a shed there because this one is unfortunately staying here. So I had to get a new shed. Editing me again. So I filmed that video about 2 weeks ago and plans have since changed. My shed is no longer staying at my mom's. She is only keeping 2 rabbits, and she says she doesn't need a whole shed for that. And my dad also decided that he does not want a new shed until spring, which obviously would not work in my favor. So instead of us trying to fix up the lean-to here or getting a whole new shed, I'm trying my hardest to get my shed here. Yeah, it was supposed to be moved tomorrow. Today is Friday the 6th, and it was scheduled to be moved tomorrow, but I hit a snag, and I ended up measuring the path, and it was a foot short in 2 different spots, so it has to be pushed back until next weekend, and I have to do a lot. I have to like figure out how to move my mom's camper and the trellis and the trampoline and all of the outdoor furniture in order to then get the shed down the path, and then I have to have it all moved back exactly as it was. So it's a lot of stress, but that's what's going on with the shed. And yeah, I'm just trying to figure that out, but I will be taking most of my rabbits, and I'm definitely taking Nana. And whenever Rachel and I get our own place, I will either be bringing another one of my cats from home if my mom wants that, or we will be getting a friend for Nana because she's definitely going to be lonely. I feel really bad and I'm kind of nervous about how she's going to adjust to living at my dad's. But I guess we'll see. So yeah, that takes care of all of the questions you guys have had so far. If there are any more, I guess now that this video got interrupted once, I can always just edit them in. But if there's an excess of them, I can always do another Q&A if that's something that you guys are interested in. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I answered all of your questions. So yeah, thank you for all of your support, and I will see you next time for a new video.